am Dr. Sophie Wise, and we are excited to share our work with you. Today, we're going to discuss how to begin working through the new Georgia ELA standards that will be implemented at the beginning of the 25 to 26 school year. At this point, most ELA teachers in our state are struggling to find a starting point in not only understanding, but implementing these new standards to ensure the success of our students. Most teachers want to know how these new standards compare and correlate with the Georgia Standards of Excellence. The new standards work in developing our students' reader and writer identities. Let's explore how the practices domain offers a more holistic and personalized approach to literacy education. First, let's get a clear understanding of what the K-12 practices domain entails, specifically EICC 1, which focuses on developing reader and writer identity. This standard emphasizes personal engagement with texts and encourages students to develop their voices and make personal connections through reading and writing. The key benefits of the practices EICC standard begins with personal engagement. PEICC prioritizes developing personal connections to texts, helping students see themselves in their reading and writing. This personal engagement strengthens their identity as readers and writers, making literacy more meaningful and relevant to their lives. Next, EICC 1 encourages students to develop their own voices through writing, fostering creativity and individual expression. By finding and using their own voices, students build confidence in their abilities as writers, which is crucial for their writer identity. Grade-level reading and writing continues to be a struggle among students. The practices domain addresses a broad range of literacy skills, including reading comprehension, writing, speaking, and listening. This comprehensive approach ensures that students develop a well-rounded literacy identity, seeing themselves as competent in multiple forms of communication. In addition, the EICC standard encourages students to reflect on their reading and writing processes, helping them understand their strengths and areas for improvement. Reflection fosters self-awareness and growth, reinforcing their identities as lifelong learners. Finally, EICC promotes the inclusion of diverse texts and perspectives, helping students see the value of different cultures and experiences. Exposure to diverse perspectives helps students develop empathy and a broader understanding of the world, enriching their identity as global citizens and literate individuals. While the Georgia Standards of Excellence provide clear, consistent guidelines, there are some limitations to consider when it comes to fostering reader and writer identity. First, the GSE standards are often rigid and prescriptive, leaving less room for personal engagement and creativity. The GSE emphasizes the development of specific skills needed for academic and career success. While these skills are important, the focus on standardized skills can overshadow the importance of personal connection and expression. GSE does not explicitly prioritize the inclusion of diverse texts and perspectives. This lack of cultural relevance can make it difficult for students to see the value of different cultures and experiences, limiting their growth as empathetic and informed readers and writers. Finally, GSE does not emphasize reflective practices as strongly as PEICC. Without reflection, students may not fully understand their strengths and areas for improvement, hindering their growth as lifelong learners. To successfully adopt these new concepts, we need to take practical steps to integrate its principles into our teaching practices. First, we will need to select a wide range of texts that reflect diverse cultures, perspectives, and experiences. We must encourage students to make personal connections to these texts and reflect on their relevance to their own lives. We will also create assignments that allow students to express their own voices and creativity, providing opportunities for students to share their writing with peers and receive constructive feedback. ELA teachers will need to incorporate reflective activities that help students think about their reading and writing processes and encourage students to set personal goals and reflect on their progress regularly. As a collaborative effort, we will foster a classroom environment that values growth and learning from mistakes, encouraging all students to see challenges as opportunities for growth and development. In an effort to not overwhelm you as a hardworking educator, we will start with diving into just the practices domain of the new Georgia ELA standards. This domain is central to our work as educators because it outlines the essential skills and processes our students need to be effective communicators and critical thinkers. The practices domain includes 9 standards that cover a range of competencies. First, we have K-12, PSEC 1, which stands for Engaging in Complex Comprehension and Communication. This standard emphasizes the need for students to understand and analyze complex texts, both written and spoken. It's about moving beyond surface-level comprehension to engage deeply with the material. This engagement involves both interpretive and expressive, requiring students to read and write critically. These 9 standards in the practices domain are designed to equip our students with the skills they need to succeed, not just in English class, but across all subjects and in their future endeavors. As we continue our work, keep these standards in mind. They are the foundation of the critical thinking, communication, and collaboration skills we want to cultivate in our students. The practices domain is assigned as a K-12 endeavor as we cultivate these important factors into instruction across the curriculum and across grade levels beginning with kindergarten. While this professional learning will focus on 9th through 12th grades, it is important to note the foundational significance in the practices domain. Let's now delve into a key component of the practices domain in the new Georgia ELA standards, specifically K-12, PECCC. 1A, which focuses on reader and writer identity, and it's the very beginning of our time together as we learn and grow as educators. This standard is foundational to helping our students see themselves as capable, engaged readers and writers. So let's break down what the standard means and how we can support our students in developing strong identities in these areas. First, let's talk about reader identity. This aspect of the standard is about encouraging students to view themselves as readers, who not only decode text but also engage with it on a deeper level. It's about fostering a sense of confidence and ownership over their reading experiences. We want our students to see reading as a meaningful activity that connects to their lives, interests, and goals. To build this identity, we need to provide diverse and engaging texts that reflect our students' experiences, cultures, and interests. This also involves creating opportunities for students to reflect on their reading habits, preferences, and growth over time. Encouraging students to set personal reading goals and to see themselves as lifelong readers is critical. Now let's shift to writer identity. Similar to reader identity, this aspect is about helping students see themselves as writers with a voice that matters. We want them to understand that writing isn't just something they do for assignments. It's a powerful tool for expression, communication, and change. Developing a strong writer identity means students feel confident in their ability to write for different purposes and audiences. To nurture this identity, we can offer varied writing experiences that allow students to explore different genres, styles, and purposes. It's important to give them opportunities to write about topics that matter to them and to share their writing with authentic audiences, whether through class publications, blogs, or community projects. We also need to provide consistent, constructive feedback that helps students see their progress as writers. Ultimately, K-12, PEICC 1A is about empowering students to see themselves as both readers and writers. When students develop strong identities in these areas, they're more likely to engage deeply with texts, take risks in their writing, and see literacy as a central part of who they are. Our role as educators is to create an environment that supports this development. Through the texts we choose, the writing opportunities we offer, and the feedback we provide. As we move forward in our professional learning today, let's think about how we can integrate these principles into our classroom practices. By helping our students develop strong reader and writer identities, we're not just teaching them skills, we're shaping how they see themselves and their place in the world. Thank you, and let's get to work on making this a reality in our classrooms. The Dr. Lady has created some wonderful digital products that will help support teachers in working with the new standards. This is the launch of our first product for this endeavor. Go to our Teachers Pay Teacher store to purchase and download. All products are digital and shared in a Google Drive folder. You may edit as you wish for your own use. For the practices, EICC won a standard, and for every standard forthcoming, we will provide a grade-level cover document that contains overall learning targets, correlation with the previous standards, the Georgia Standards of Excellence, the WITI AELD Social and Instructional Language Standard that applies, and proficiency indicators for the 25-26 standard. When you purchase this product, you will have all the resources that you need to teach this first standard. Learning targets are provided for 1A, and you will have items such as a reading or writing goal checklist, checklist for goal revision, a setting and revising goals rubric, sentence, stems for goals in both English and Spanish, and many other items. You also get a link to a video to use in your classroom that helps to guide students through the process of the standard. We are working diligently each day to bring you more resources. Please check back soon. We thank you for watching and for having the growth mindset in improving as an educator.